Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to have you join me and Dr. Andrew St. Bernard, who is a chiropractor with Corrective Chiropractic in Woodstock, Georgia. They're actually right there, very conveniently located in the Town Lake area near Bells Ferry and Eagle Drive. So, very excited. He's got a really fabulous and dynamic practice, and he's originally from Canada, relocated here so that he could go to Life College, and graduated from there. Met his wife, and as his family called it, apparently from our conversation earlier, got married and ended up staying instead of going back home. So we are very glad to have you here, Andrew, and I'm
Glad to be
excited
here.
to have an opportunity to talk with you about your business. Real quick, want to welcome anyone that is watching with us live and anybody that may join us for this interview later. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about this business. My name is Amy Benton. I'm the relocation director for ERA Sunrise Realty. We sell homes and help people buy homes in the metro Atlanta area. We also have offices in Athens and Augusta. So that's just who I am. And my goal here is to help our small businesses continue to move forward and kind of give you an idea of who they are and what they're doing as we move forward with opening up the country and beginning to figure out what our new normal is. So, welcome, Andrew. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, I kind of gave away a little bit about your story, but I know that you've got more that you can obviously share. Tell us a little bit more about your background and your why.
Excellent. So, Amy already said I'm a Canadian-born citizen. I'm working on my American citizenship now. Y'all didn't know that, but I am working on that right now. I have my green card. So, for those who are wondering, I am legal. Okay, I'm here legally. But yes, I decided to start my family. We started in Dallas, Georgia. I still live there right now, but we have the full intention of moving to Woodstock eventually. As our practice grows. This practice is just about under 2 years old. I've been in practice for almost 10 years now, though, so I've had a lot of experience in the Beaufort, Suwannee area, in Kennesaw for the most part too. So I'm very happy to be here in Woodstock. We picked Woodstock because we see it as an up and coming city with a lot of potential, a lot of growth that has happened. It's one of the fastest growing cities, as all of y'all know. So we decided we wanted to settle down in Woodstock. It also fit our family vibe too, which is it's called the city unexpected. So we very much are about being not necessarily countercultural, but definitely on the cutting edge of things. And as you'll learn as I speak a little bit more about our practice here, we're very much on the cutting edge of technology and how we care for our patients and how we get people results. So a little bit more about my background as a Canadian. I talked about some of my favorite pastimes. I haven't been able to snowboard in a number of years. That's something I wish I could do here. I wish we had some mountains that had a little bit of snow at least. But instead, my pastimes are now spending time with my family, my kids. I've got 3 girls, a 9, a 7, and a 3-year-old, almost 4. She'll be 4 in July. So
Wow.
love my girls. Gabrielle, if they're watching this, I'm coming to see you soon. Gabrielle, Charlotte, and Genevieve are their names. And Genevieve, when we first announced her name, the Southern family and my wife's side said, "Oh, that's an interesting name." And I know what that means. It's not your typical Southern name. So we call her Evie for short, just to keep it real simple and
Just
light.
to keep it
She
simple.
loves it.
Yeah.
But what's funny? As a 3-year-old, you know what she says when we call her? We ask her what her name is. We've always called her Evie. And when I ask her name, you know what she says? She says, "My name is Genevieve." So she knows. She's the sweetest.
She knows exactly what she's supposed to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's awesome that she knows her name, no matter what she's called, she knows her name, and that I think that's pretty cool. So,
Oh, she's brilliant.
um, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. So, tell me a little bit about what a visit to see you would look like if I was a new patient. And we've already talked, you're talking to a prospective new patient right now. So tell me a little bit what that first appointment would look like and how you work.
Perfect. Yes, and I appreciate the question. A lot of people come into a chiropractor's office for the first time, whether you've been to other chiropractors before or you've never been before. I don't like to make assumptions because you know what they say about assumptions, right? It doesn't make good for
Right.
so from start to finish, you come to our office, you're going to be greeted by name. We were very personal and very friendly in our office. I'm also very much about explaining what we do before we do it. I can't tell you how many times I've had patients that come to see me where they had negative experiences, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of really good doctors out there, but because of a miscommunication or misstep, oftentimes the person's caught off guard, or maybe they weren't expecting a certain thing, whether it be from a price standpoint, from a comfort zone with their adjustments, or even procedural. So one of the things you can guarantee is going to happen when you come to my office is we're going to be explaining everything before it happens. You receive an email that details everything to expect on that first visit, along with your new patient forms. So you'll have the ease of being able to fill that out at the comfort of your home. That way, when you come into my office, we're not waiting around. We're not, spending needless time filling paperwork out. So our office is very cutting edge. Like I said, we incorporate the best of physical therapy type exercises along with the adjustments. So it's not just a lay on the table, let me pop your back real quick and send you out the door. We're very much more procedural. And as the name suggests, corrective, we're all about helping a person find the cause of their issue and then come up with a reasonable strategy for correcting the problem. So as I mentioned, I've had a lot of patients who come from other offices, and maybe they had a lackluster experience, maybe not a positive one, or maybe they had a great experience, but they're still dealing with an issue that's been nagging, that won't go away, and it's not really explained by anything in particular. If that's happening, if anyone's watching this right now and you have an issue that's been going on for longer than 6 months, you don't really know what the cause is, even if it's something that comes and goes, but it's always like a neck issue on the side, or mid back, or even a low back pelvic issue, that could be a sign that your spine and pelvis is not in the right alignment, and therefore it's not structurally sound. If your spine and pelvis, if your neck, if your back is not in a sound position, you may not be carrying your body in a healthy position where you're handling the forces of gravity very well, and therefore it's going to wear and tear a lot easier. Just doing regular daily activities. So one of the number one things that I hear from people when they come to see me is that they didn't really do anything. It just kind of happened. It's like they woke up, or they slept wrong, or they bent over and tied their shoelace. If those are signs and symptoms that you're having or experiencing, definitely it should be high priority for you to get an evaluation.
Right. Well, and based on because I'm also a yoga instructor, I've trained as one anyway. I don't currently teach, but what we were taught is if there's a misalignment somewhere, the pain and the end result always shows up at the next largest joint. So even I'm assuming if like your shin is a little bit twisted, something like that, that's going to show up either at the ankle or at the knee where the pain's coming in. So, and same thing with your spine, the closer up in your spine, the more it's going to, reach shoulders or neck or up into here. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, it does. It's so important to address things from the root cause. And when we look at the root in the center of everything, it's your spine and nervous system. Your brain being the central control unit for the entire body and all of its functions. And some of us that are maybe watching this aren't as familiar as you may be, Amy, or educated about what chiropractic does. But one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about what I do is I help unlock that potential. I help people's bodies feel and function on their own. And one of my most passionate goals is to help people so that they're not dependent on things like drugs or surgery for health. That your body was designed beautifully and wonderfully to be able to heal itself. And when given the right circumstances, it does a wonderful job of doing that. So I get really excited. I get goosebumps on the back of my neck just talking about it because it's so cool how amazing.
Well, and I felt the same thing at the same time because, and I think it's more, and I don't know if this is a product of the people that come out of Life College or if that's what Life College draws to itself, but it's that very mantra that you just said, the body itself, and you have the ability to, tap into that and be beautifully and wonderfully made and feel and be able to live that way also. And I think that was just beautifully put, because the second you said it, I got all of the goosies. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And
We
I got the same experience as a patient. I started out as a patient when I was 18. I was working in a warehouse trying to save for my first car. It was a 1993 Honda Civic hatchback. And I love this car, but it put me through misery trying to get to work enough money to pay it off as a young person. So at 18 years old, I was working in this warehouse and I hurt my back. And what did they tell me to do? Just push through the pain, be a man, all of those silly things that they tell people to do. And sure enough, I pushed
Right.
myself hard enough one day that I couldn't get out of bed. I had a very difficult time getting out of bed, putting weight on my foot. I said, there's no way that I can even walk right now. I think I really screwed up, is what I thought. And I was right to a degree,
Right.
but fortunately, I met a chiropractor who was wonderful. I had to speak to people who weren't so nice to talk to in not personal injury, workers' comp, because it was on the job and it was an incident related to them. Nobody was very nice and wanted to give me the time of day. But this chiropractor that I
I
met,
know.
her name was Dr. Monica. She was wonderful. She took great care of me, and she gave me a plan of action to help correct my spine. I mean, I did an evaluation. She took x-rays. She did an exam similar to what I do now. And the reason why I do it is because it works, because it worked for me, and
Yeah.
I know that it'll work for others too. And she made
Hmm.
such an impact on me. We ended up developing a relationship over a number of years, and she got to know my personality, and she said, you know what, you could be a chiropractor. Did you know, like, you got the personality for this? And I said, really? Like, you think I could do this? I'm like, at the time I had no real aspirations, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I'm about a senior in high school, and she planted a seed, and that seed developed into where we are today. And it's amazing how that happens. All she had to do was just mention that, and it changed my life
Right.
completely. So not only was I able to get my back in good shape again, I thought I was, like, honestly thought I hurt my back so bad that that it was permanently damaged. I thought I'd be disabled. That's how bad it felt. And she looked at me in the eye
Oh,
and she said, "You're going to get through this. Your body's going to heal itself, and you're going to be much better on the other end of this." And when she said
right.
those words, it gave me hope, and it gave me confidence in my body's ability to heal. And nobody had ever told me about this before. I mean, it's not like I had a bad experience with drugs or surgery or anything like that. I just didn't know. I didn't know my body was
Right.
capable of repairing itself even on the inside. So it wasn't just
Mhm.
about my back pain. It was about my overall health. It was about my immune system function. It was about how my organs were functioning on the inside, my digestive tract. I had an
Mhm.
issue also one time when I was seeing her the same job. I stepped off the curb and I was wearing steel toe boots, and I felt this electric pain kind of right in the middle of my low back. And she had this chart. In fact, I've
Mhm.
got my phone with you. I'm gonna make a trip with my phone, because this is where I want to show you
Okay.
guys this. This is really cool. Plus, you get a sneak peek of the office too. Who doesn't want that?
Oh, yeah, this
So,
is a first. This is a first. It's awesome. I love it.
so we're getting to move around a little bit. This chart is
Right.
what she had in her office, and as you can see, it's pretty big. I mean, I'm standing next to it here, and look how big this thing is, right? You
Oh,
can get
it's
a real
taller than
close up.
you.
You can get a real close up look, and I'm 6'2", if that gives you any idea. So this chart here, it's really interesting. I'll just tell you my story. There's a lot of different organs connected to the body. And the nerves that come off the spine. Sorry, it's
Mhm.
mirroring. I got to move this the right way. But you can see all those yellow
Right.
lines coming off the spine there. Those are nerves that go to different organs in the body. And what amazes me about this, there's so many parts of the body and so many symptoms that people suffer with that can be related to the spine in one way or another, that they may have been struggling with
Mhm.
for a long time. As I mentioned, I stepped off a curb wrong, and what happened was I felt this jolt in my low back. And I'll just come right back down here and try and angle this right so you can see. But right here at L3, okay, I was reading
Yeah.
on the chart in my chiropractor's office what L3 does and where it goes, and you can see it goes to
Knees.
the uterus, the bladder, the knees. At the
Mhm.
time that I took that step off the curb and I felt the jolt in my back in that exact same spot in the middle of my low back there, I started to
Mhm.
notice I had to go to the bathroom a lot. I was going to the bathroom constantly, and it wasn't like I was drinking a lot of water. I wasn't
Right.
having any other symptom. It was just a really strange. I always had to go to the bathroom. Like every hour, I was going to the bathroom, and you'll see
Mhm.
that irritation to the nerve that area causes bladder issues. When I read that,
Yeah.
I said, "Holy smokes! I've got a problem with my back that's causing bladder issues." I had no idea, and I told my
Right.
chiropractor about it, and she adjusted me. And after her adjustment, it was amazing because what happened to the bladder issues? They went away. I didn't have a problem
Yeah.
anymore. And I hadn't
Exactly.
done anything else. I hadn't seen
Well,
any
and my
endoscopists.
mom, right, and my mom has had a similar experience. She's got one of the vertebrae in her back that will go out that will trigger her heart arrhythmia.
Hmm.
And she'll have to go in and get adjusted so that, that will calm down and her heart will get back into a regular rhythm. So, I've got firsthand personal experience with just exactly some of what you're talking about.
Yep.
That very much makes a lot of sense. And I love that you shared that with us. That was awesome.
I've had patients like that too in my 10 years of practice who've got different heart conditions too that have seen results. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because there's a lot of ways that we can test for nerve problems related to heart issues too. So there's
Mhm.
something you can even do yourself if you're watching this right now. If you've never heard of heart rate variability, it's an amazing way that you can test with a heart rate monitor at home through an app. There's an app called HRV Plus that you
Mhm.
can download. I believe it's still free to download, and you just connect it to your heart rate monitor. And what it tells you is basically how you're dealing with stress. And it uses the heartbeat and the intervals in between beats to tell you if you're stressed out or not. So that's a really quick thing that we can do, or that I can suggest to you to do on your own, just to see how you're managing stress. And what you do is just
Mhm.
measure those numbers on a daily basis and monitor that. It's said that I'm a very big avid fan of CrossFit and high intensity exercises, but it's said that if your heart rate variability is low, you may not want to stress your body too much that day because your heart's not in a good condition to handle that. So managing stress
Right.
is the utmost importance, and that's another thing that chiropractic helps people do better.
Right. Well, and given the circumstances that we're under socially, um, we'll go ahead and call it out for what it is, COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to wrap around it. That's put us all in a very unnatural state of stress, I would think. So, or I wouldn't think, I would know because I'm doing it myself, and I'm sure that you've had your own experience with it.
Yeah.
Um, they say that stress and being alone is equal to smoking over 15 cigarettes a day. So whether you smoke or whether you don't, that stress alone is enough on your body to create some real dis-ease within the body. So grateful to you for sharing that tip about the heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
Um,
To your point about stress
the thing.
too, and managing coping with stress, one of the positions that we're taking is we're trying to make this environment as de-stressing. There's a word called eustress. It means a positive stress. So exercise, things like
Mhm.
that would be considered a positive stress in the body, which is good because your
Right.
body will adapt to those stresses. Some level
Mhm.
of exposure to dirt, like when they say go play in the dirt, it's good for you, it's healthy, that'll boost your immune system too,
Yeah.
to some level, to
Mhm.
some degree. The position we've taken in the office is just to be a place of comfort for folks, and so we've done a number of things to help offset the current status. So I'm obviously not wearing a mask right now. The office is closed at this point, but I will wear a mask if my patients desire that. If they're coming in and wearing a
Mhm.
mask, I don't even ask the question. I just assume that that's what they're comfortable with. So that's what we do. And we've done every measure we can according to the CDC to keep our environment safe and clean for everybody. So we've been sanitizing in between every single patient adjustment. We sanitize the table, anything they come in contact with. And we're screening our patients. We'll take temperatures before they come in for their visits too. And I know it can be cumbersome, but it's necessary right now, right? And so we want to create an environment that's
Right.
as comfortable for people as possible, because you cannot heal in a state or where you're uncomfortable or if you're stressed out. So if we can overcome that
Exactly.
obstacle first and create an environment that is comfortable, then we can get to the
Hmm.
next level of healing where a person's ready to receive that healing too. And that's so important.
Yeah, yeah, and it really truly is, and thank you for going to those links to do that for all of us. Anybody that may choose to schedule an appointment with you, or anybody that currently is a client of yours, I'm sure that they appreciate it as well. I don't think we can do too much to protect each other and take care of each other right now, and so. I certainly agree with everything that you've shared so far. So, um, you've given me plenty of reasons why you think that your clients could choose you over competitors, because you're obviously running a state-of-the-art practice. Your
Thank you.
passion for chiropractic and for the self-healing capabilities of the body is absolutely apparent. So you've given me so I know what I see. Why do you think your clients choose you?
So I can tell you a resounding one of the main reasons why a lot of people choose us is because of our methodology. Because this
Mhm,
type of practice, people are looking for solutions to their issues, not just ways to get through them. A lot of like just listening to one of my patients tell me, they'll say that they've been to other chiropractors who don't take the time to listen or understand what they're going through, or even
mhm,
modify their plan. The criticism that I've heard from some of our patients about other chiropractors is that they don't modify the plan. They don't. They adjust everybody the same way. It's like a cookie cutter system. Or some of the people that have ended up starting care with us and staying with us, they know that it's not like what's they call it like a mill, where they're just another name or another number, and that
mhm,
it's very high volume and that there's not a lot of time spent. I take the time that's necessary to not only get to know my patients well and what their needs are, but to speak to those needs specifically and directly. Like if you were telling me at a re-exam, so I re-examine my patients pretty regularly, usually between 12 and 16 visits. And with that re-examination, I'm determining if they're making progress. So they're going to tell me things like, you
mhm,
know what, I don't really know if I'm noticing a change yet. And I'm either going to have an explanation for them based on the data that we collected and the facts that I have, or I'm going to do more examination on them to find out what's wrong. And I think that that's what our
right,
patient base appreciates the most, because the whole approach of, that's fine, lay on the table and let me adjust you again. It's old. I know the body will
mhm,
heal itself in time, but that's not what our patients want to hear. That's not what people want to hear. They want to hear, hey, I've got a problem right now. Can you help me with this? Is there a solution to this? Is
right,
there a stretch that I can do at home? Is there an exercise that's going to help me with this? Is there some type of different
mhm,
way that you can adjust me? And the answer to all of that is what is needed in that situation. And if I don't have an exam to go off of, an x-ray or something to make a decision clinically, then I don't really.
mhm,
I'm experimenting, right? And although a
right,
practice is called a practice, it should be based on something more than just feel and touch or show and tell. But we've got to have
exactly.
something more to go by. So what type of testing do I do in my office? We do postural testing, and I know a lot of chiropractic offices do this, so it's not uncommon. But we use an app
Mhm,
called Posture Screen, and Posture Screen will actually digitally show you what your posture looks like, and it uses numbers to determine, based on your height and weight, what type of loads you're carrying. So a lot of people aren't
oh,
even
wow,
aware that their posture is something that, if it's not quite lined up properly, that could be costing them
mhm,
energy and resources, in that it's stressing their nervous system and it's causing muscles to be overly tight in their spine.
mhm,
I can't tell you how many times I've had a patient that says, my problem is right here, and that's the only issue I have. And then when I do an exam, I come to find out they've got a lot more that they didn't quite feel So
Right.
it's all about finding the root cause, like I said, and getting it corrected so that their whole body can heal better.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, gosh, I have loved this interview. We're kind of running up on our time, and I don't want to keep you past. I know that you only had a half an hour to fit this in this evening, so
Totally
I
fine.
want to kind of wrap it up. I know that you are looking forward to your move to Cherokee County, whenever that is, appropriate for you and your
Yes.
family. Um, One of the questions I tend to ask everybody is, what do you love about where you live, and what do you love about where you work? Because my focus on these interviews is primarily in this little tiny corner that I tend to work, which is Cobb, Paulding, and Cherokee County. That's kind of my home base. And it has been even whenever I was an agent. So it's kind of my stomping ground. But
Right.
so what do you love about that?
So
About each?
I love about where I live. I'm very fortunate to live in a community that has a lot of children, same age as my kids, and our whole during this whole pandemic, it's been such a blessing for us to have neighbors that are like family. And so that's going to be one of the
Mhm.
hardest things is as we, when we are ready to make a transition. And I don't think we're quite ready yet, but when we are, it's going to be very difficult for us to
Yeah.
move away from the neighbors who've now become family with their kids and all that. So what I love about our community is the involvement. I mean, everybody was while we were quarantined. It's like we were all quarantined together. So we did our very best to practice social distancing and all that. But the kids, they had friends to play with, and like I said, we've got a support system. That was the difficult thing for my wife and I because she doesn't have a lot of family here. Her family, at least, is all in Gwinnett County, which is quite a distance, and my family's all
Mhm.
in Canada. So that doesn't leave us with much of a support system to raise our kids. And so to have the neighborhood that we have in the Paulding County has been such a blessing. Now I've heard of great neighborhoods here in Cherokee County. Why I love to work here, the gyms that I like to train at. Like I said, I'm a fan of CrossFit, so I work with Strive Health and Fitness, Strong
Mhm.
Side, to name a few. I'm also a fan of Orange Theory too. So a lot of our fitness goers and people who are into high intensity exercise, I really relate well to these people. They like to live their life on their
Mhm.
terms. They want to be able to come and go as they please, and they don't want to be hampered or have issues with their body not functioning the way it needs to function. They
Right.
want to live a very high quality life for a very long time. And those are
Exactly.
the people that I relate to. I think Woodstock is the type of community where people get out and about. They're social. They love being out and
Mhm.
social. When they first opened the cities back up last weekend, I can't tell you what I was at. I was downtown Woodstock, and I could not believe
Mhm.
how many people were out and just
There were
enjoying
so
life.
many.
It was
Well, but
incredible.
downtown Woodstock has so much to offer now. There
I
was,
mean,
I mean, I grew up here. I've been here since I was 6 years old. So I remember whenever Woodstock was like a nothing town, right?
yeah,
I mean, and I don't say that to be insulting, but in comparison to what it is now,
yeah,
it's the way that they have built that city center and managed what's gone in there. It's beautiful, and it's a great place to spend time with your family and everything else. But I also agree with you about Paulding County, because Paulding County is a very tight knit community, and a lot of the communities that are out there are really designed for that kind of personal connection. So I love that you shared those things with us. Thank you for giving us your personal stories. I'm so glad that you had some time to come on with me, and that we've had some people join us. And I hope you have a great evening. I know you've got to go. I almost hate that you do. I'm like, I want to ask you more things, but
we'll do this
I'm glad
again.
that we had this time.
Thank you. It's been a
So.
pleasure. Like I said, I'm so glad that we had a chance to talk, and I look forward to doing this again. Maybe we could do another live or something, and I could present stretches, exercises, maybe something like that to help some of our community there that may be needing it.
That would be fabulous, and I would love to have you come back on. I know that Heather, who referred you to me, I saw her earlier today, and she and Raul are going to come back on. I actually went and
Oh,
laid in the sauna and did the Saluma today, so um, I don't know if she's watching, but I adore her, and her new space is fabulous. But I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, and I can't wait to
yes.
have you on again. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks so
You do the
much,
same.
Andrew.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Bye now.
Bye. Okay, so real quick, I have some housekeeping that I have to do for my personal page. Um, I got a text message from a friend of mine earlier today, and she's like, "Hey, so who won the wine?" And I went, "Ugh, I never did the drawings. Oh my gosh, this is what happens whenever you don't normally do giveaways and you're stuck at home during a pandemic. I apologize completely for not getting this job done the way that I should have. So, real quickly, before I log off, wanted to congratulate Ashton Fields for winning the hypnosis session with Angela Ochiltree. Ashton, I was in the sauna today at Heather's place, and she played Angela's immune system hypnosis. Oh, it was amazing. You are really going to love having the opportunity to sit down with her. You can do that virtually from wherever you are, and I hope that you look forward to it. So, on to the wine. Ladies, I will get with you and connect with you on these things. But Heather May, you won the Merlot. And I actually did the random name picker. I'm not just pulling this out of a hat. And Catherine Nellums, you won the Chardonnay. So thank you both for joining us for wine night. I will reach out to you to schedule delivering those things to you. Thank you all for joining me this evening for my interview with Dr. Andrew St. Bernard. I see where one of his clients has commented that he's been with Dr. St. Bernard for 8 years and that he is absolutely the best. Based on my conversation with him, his passion just pours out. And I can only expect that you would have a fantastic experience were you to want to give him a try for your chiropractic care. All of his contact information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You should be able to grab it at any time watching this video. If you joined us this evening, thank you so much. If you're joining us later, I appreciate your time. If you've watched and you feel like this really is important that you share it with somebody else, feel free to tag them in the comments below or share this with them. We would love to have you join us for the next interview. So keep your eyes on this space. Thank you so much and have a great evening. Bye, guys.